Hey everyone, happy Tuesday, July 8th. Took me a minute. I am currently taking some time off at my parents' house in New Hampshire, but I can't really sit still. It's weird getting into a new routine, I guess, or trying to get into a new routine again after 7 weeks of this trial, of the Diddy trial. Sorry, I assume everyone knows what I'm talking about, but who knows sometimes. 1 second. I'm sending this text. I started it before I went live. 1 sec. Hi guys. Hello. Who is in the chat? Hi Maytal. Hey Aunt. Hey King D. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your names correctly. So I want to go over some things, just kind of a mishmash of things. That's very nice. Thank you. I feel kind of gross, but thank you so much. That's so nice. Yes, I love this. But a mishmash of things. So today at 2 p.m., clearly I will not be there because I am in a different state, but Diddy has a hearing at the federal courthouse, and we have a press chat, if you can believe that. We started it after the trial, all the people that were on the 26th floor in the courtroom for the Diddy trial, and it's actually really helpful because everyone's like, hey, is this going to be live streamed? Can we catch the hearing on Zoom? Turns out no, we cannot. So that will be at the federal courthouse, and you have to actually be there. And I think it was like 24, which was the overflow room if you want to go and listen. But I'll get all the details from the chat that we have going on, because quite a few members of the press are going to attend that. So want to make it clear, this isn't his official sentencing. This is a hearing today to determine whether or not his sentencing will be expedited. Let me just make this banner right now. I'm trying to make it organized so I can keep track and everyone can keep track if they pop on about what I'm talking about. So this is the Diddy status hearing today at 2 p.m. Eastern. So yes, this status hearing is to determine if they can expedite the sentencing, which, by the way, the sentencing is set for October, which is actually pretty fast, but it's clear that Diddy does not want to sit in federal jail awaiting this sentence or his sentence until October. Now, I think hey MJ, good to see you. Yay. I think, and you're so welcome. It's like, I'm not really on vacation. I kind of am, but pop chat. I love this. Oh my goodness. I love this so much. Morning, Felicia. Hey there. So, yeah, I think there seems to be some arguments on what people think he's going to get sentencing wise. So, I mean, I've been looking up the Mann Act, and I've been looking at some of the sentencing that people do get when it comes down to these charges. And okay, so NWA, this is interesting. He should not be in prison on 2 prostitution charges. This is what a lot of lawyers are saying, that he should not be in jail awaiting this sentencing. However, the judge had cited, when he decided to keep him in jail, that this was all on the defense. This is, the defense's own admission here that he's a violent guy, and, he's been violent in the past. And then, of course, Cassie wrote a letter saying that she was nervous, which I think maybe had a hand in this. But I think overall, and I think actually Mark Geragos said it pretty well on this one clip that I did find. I should pull that up. But he kind of said the judge didn't really have a choice in the matter because of what was said previously by the defense. And also he kind of hinted at the fact that maybe this could be good for Diddy when it comes down to his sentencing. Maybe this would allow the judge to dock off more time on the sentencing because he spent this much time in jail. So, hey guys, let me see. Yes. So yeah, a lot of attorneys are saying that he should not be in jail just based on these prostitution charges. Daisha, welcome. Yay. You're so nice. I love your comments on everything, by the way. You're funny. Um, okay, something else that I am curious about. I did look up the fact, or I looked up the statutes of limitations on the Mann Act, and what I found, certain case law, it did state that there was a 5-year statute of limitations for general transportation, coercion, and enticement involving adults. So I was a little confused. I was like, okay, does that mean that the statute of limitations is up for Cassie and those charges? I'm curious about that, and I'm curious as to what what other attorneys say. So let's see. Wait, okay, so this is my parents' basement, and they built out a little area for, like, there's like a kitchenette. So this is kind of an office space as well. So don't be hating, okay? Listen, I'm doing the best I can. Let me see. Yes, his own lawyers said he was violent. Right. I'll find the Mark Geragos clip, because Mark Geragos had the same, I guess, idea that I did about this sentencing, thinking that he's not going to get more than 18 months to 2 years. So that's what I thought, and that's what Mark Geragos thinks. However, I've seen people who think he's going to get 10 years. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you look at the, again, case law when it comes to prostitution and the Mann Act, nobody really gets 10 years or plus unless they're transporting minors. That's what my research has shown. But this is a very different case with Diddy. This is very, very different. I mean, I don't know. I mean, let me see. Do I think the judge will go hard? Yeah, I don't know, because he's been really fair throughout this entire trial. And, academics actually said it really well. He said, this is a give and take judge. So because he did not grant him bail, maybe that means he will go lighter on the sentence. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to determine, but thank you so much. MJ, you think he's going to get out soon, but not today. Yeah. I mean, right. Who knows? I've had all these thoughts about the Mann Act, and again, why he's sitting in jail, and why there wasn't a statute on the Cassie charges when it came to the Mann Act. But who knows? Let me go back up in the chat. Does the time count on the event or after the verdict? So it's right now. I think that what could happen, I mean, and this is a federal case. This obviously isn't a state case. You do get time served, right? If it's a federal case as well. I've never heard otherwise. I obviously could be wrong because I'm not an attorney, but I think that the time in jail, it definitely counts before in most cases, unless time served, doesn't count per the judge, but it definitely could. Is it true the prosecutors couldn't find a case to keep Diddy in jail, so they asked the victims to write a letter? No, I personally don't think that's the case. I mean, my opinion, I saw Cassie's attorney, Doug Wigder, in the courtroom pretty much every day for the last, let's say, week and a half. So I think that he was paying attention, and he was planning to write a letter, if the outcome was, or having Cassie write the letter or write it on her behalf if the outcome was what we saw. So let's see. No, I am not in your hood. I am in New Hampshire right now, MJ. Let me see. Yeah, I want to find the Mark Geragos clip really quick, because I think you guys will find it really interesting. And Mark Geragos, really wonderful defense attorney. Tenny Geragos is his father, who was Diddy's attorney. He also is the attorney for the Menendez brothers. Mark Geragos, reaction, Diddy, no bail. Just see. And he was Scott Peterson's lawyer. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share this, and I'm going to speed it up. If you guys are new to my live streams, I am really impatient. So I play everything on like 1.5 or 1.2 because I understand that not everybody likes to hear things very, very quickly. But side note, something funny about me as well. I listen to podcasts and everything on 1.5 because my brain is like, I can't listen to anything slow. I'm so crazy like that. Let me see. No, so we don't know when sentencing is. Again, the hearing is today. They're going to determine, or the each side, the defense and the government, they're going to submit their letters, and the defense, they want the sentencing expedited. So right now it's set for October. Let's see what happens. Oh my gosh, you thought I was a lawyer? Thank you so much. That's such a compliment. That is so Grok or Chat GPT. That is so not me. Yes. Okay. Thank you. This is the ADD generation. Thank you so much for not making me feel like I'm totally crazy. Oh, does it really? I didn't know that it kills the copyright clause. That's crazy. Oh, good to know. All right. Let me get this up. Sorry, I'll stop now. I am just getting it all. All right. Present and share. Okay. Here we go.
Think when you learned yesterday that they were locked on RICO, but had decided on 4 of the other charges. What did that mean to you?
Until I read the note, I wasn't feeling great. Once I read the note, I'll show you how deep in the weeds and reading the tea leaves. When I saw jurors, plural, opinions, plural, and unpersuadable, that convinced me that they had found him not guilty on the more serious charges. And why do I say that? Because I figured at that point, who, if they had voted guilty across the other 4, was going to fight for the RICO? I just didn't think that made any sense. And sure enough, that's exactly the way it turned out. Unpersuadable yesterday. After about an hour and a half this morning, they came back, and I will tell you as.
And by the way, sorry, really quick, I just saw. What case do you think I'll follow next? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to discuss it right after this because I'll be back in New York next week, and I will be going down to Manhattan Criminal Court to give you all the details on the case I'm going to talk about right after this.
Was a helicopter parent watching it, and you just saw Tenny, their force of nature that she is. I couldn't be happier for her, for my granddaughter that is in her womb, for the client for his daughters. You know, I met with him. I won't talk about what we said, but we both shed a tear or two over our respective daughters today.
Wow.
Tough spot for his daughters, that's for sure. Not because of what their criminality is, but because of what the underlying behavior was. You and I have talked on TV and off TV about what bothered us about this case, regardless of your daughter's involvement. It's that it seemed like they were they wanted him. They wanted him. That search proved that they wanted him, and that they were trying to build a case around him because they didn't like the video that none of us likes, and no one should like that video, and he shouldn't have lied about it. But none of that is what a federal case is supposed to be about. Do you believe that this jury was making that statement, and you think we'll hear that from them when they speak?
Well, I won't even venture to predict what a juror will say. I will say that clearly the jurors had seen through this. You know, one of the interesting things as I was sitting here in New York is the presentation by the prosecution.
Yes,
and,
Maytal, you're totally right.
For my labeling of the prosecutors in this case, and I don't want
to
go
MJ,
there. But
Michael
there
Jackson's
was
lawyer.
some pearl clutching here, and it seemed like the kind of the morality police to me. It just made no sense. Then this weekend, I was walking from the office to where I stay, which is about 1.5 miles, but it took me about 3 or 4 hours because of the Pride Parade. And one of the great things about New York City on the Pride Sunday is this kind of celebratory Mardi Gras festival-like atmosphere.
Okay, I don't care. Let me see.
A fight in 1986, and there is a 86. What is your?
Don't remember.
Yeah.
And most recently.
Oh wait, here we go. Hold on.
Look.
sentencing.
Look, the Mann Act, for those who don't remember, I think most famously was brought against the heavyweight boxer, African American, who had a white girlfriend over 100 years ago.
Johnson.
For a white woman. Then famously against Chuck Berry, and most recently against R. Kelly. But at least with R. Kelly, the allegation was minors.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based.
They just got to the good part. Oh my gosh. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. Hold on. Let me look. Mark Geragos. I swear, maybe it was on TMZ because he hosts that podcast with Harvey Levin. Mark Geragos on TMZ, Diddy sentencing. I just wanted everyone to hear this because I really think it just made so much sense. But okay,
Would you call Tenny and see if we can just talk to her by phone?
She's in the next room.
Well, would you walk in for 2 minutes? How do you feel?
I feel great.
I'm just wondering, why did you put a gag order on your dad?
I don't know.
That journal where they were squirting baby oil all over the place?
That was so
Absolutely.
crazy.
I mean, it became
by the way, in the opening and the closing, Tenny's opening was brilliant. And it was serious, and it was heartfelt, and you could tell she knew the case inside out. But she did get a laugh.
Okay, gosh, did you guys see also? That video of the baby oil and everybody just going crazy. It was really that crazy, but I saw Armand Wiggins. He's so great. He's so nice. He wrote this apology because he got caught right in the middle of that whole thing, and it kind of looked like he was a big Diddy supporter, and that wasn't the case at all. He was like, I feel so, like I'm being so disrespectful, but that was not the case. This clip got taken out of context. Here, I'll go back a little bit. You can see what just showed. It was literally, did I just have it? Outside the courthouse with all the baby oil right here.
You play that?
Please. Where they were squirting baby oil all over the place? Absolutely. I mean, it became
by the way, in the opening and the closing, Tenny's opening was brilliant.
Thank you so much.
And it was so serious, and it was heartfelt, and you could tell she knew the case inside out.
Okay, so really, really quickly, I want to show you what I just what I had researched about the Mann Act and what it says about the statute. So it says the statute of limitations for initiating a criminal prosecution under the Mann Act depends on the severity of the offense and any applicable exceptions. The general rule for non-capital offenses, for most Mann Act violations, transportation, generally coercion, enticement involving adults, the statute of limitations is 5 years from the date the offense was committed. This applies unless an exception extends or tolls the period. So maybe there is some kind of exception here. I'm obviously assuming that because, the defense did try to get these charges removed at the beginning. I think I've gone over this many times, or I've said it many times on other live streams. It was like maybe a month or so before that, or maybe a few months before that, the government added these charges and the defense was like, no, we need to get these dismissed. These are racist. But I would have thought they would have said the statute of limitations has since passed for the Mann Act violations involving Cassie Ventura. Who knows? Oh, Maytal, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. I really appreciate you. Thank you. You're so kind. And Angela, you think it should be 5 years. Yeah, I totally understand everybody's point of view on this sentencing. 100% totally understand it. So it said, extended limitations for certain sex offenses. There is no, so this is the transportation of minors. If the offense involves a minor under 18 and includes elements of force, fraud, or coercion. And that's where Mark Geragos was mentioning R. Kelly. And by the way, R. Kelly came up a lot during the jury charges when the judge, he wrote the jury charges out. It was like 118 pages. And then he had the government and the defense each write in their objections to everything. But the case law that they referenced was totally R. Kelly over and over and over again. And R. Kelly was, he was charged in the Eastern District of New York, and that's Brooklyn. But oh my gosh, Daisha, thank you so much. You're so nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And no, today's hearing will not be shown. It's not on Zoom. I mean, I should have known. Like when I heard someone say that, I'm like, no, if that was the case, then this trial, we would have had hearings on Zoom before. But it's not happening. But if you are local to New York City, you can go down to the federal courthouse and you can listen as a member of the public in the overflow rooms. So, and I think it's going to be in the overflow rooms only because everybody is doing this remotely. So, and yes, sorry, no, they were not all minors. There was a handful of minors in the R. Kelly case. But, oh, well, I try not to give out any information that I'm really not certain of. And if I'm not certain of it, I will let you know that it's my opinion or I am not certain. So, and thank you so much. That's so nice. But yeah, so I mean, we will see what happens. I did take a look at the Clayton Howard lawsuit as well. Hey, Andrea, good to see you. I did take a look at that lawsuit, the Clayton Howard lawsuit. I mean, I want to just say this in a very diplomatic way. And I've said this before, but I look at civil lawsuits a bit differently now than I did before. I don't sift through them and take every single word as fact. Could it be fact, all of it? Definitely. But could it also be exaggerated? Definitely. Multiple things can be true. And sitting through the Sean Combs trial and seeing a lot of the witnesses on the stand who had to admit that some of their civil lawsuits were exaggerated, that was eye-opening. And the fact that these people on the stand, like Dawn Richard, for example, kind of said, no, I didn't review my lawsuit before my lawyers put it out there. She didn't. And Brianna Bongelin said, I didn't review either. And then I had to let my lawyer go and get another one after things were misinterpreted in the lawsuit. And then, when it came to Cassie, there was certain things that even Cassie kind of admitted, so like what, that for Brianna Bongelin, I think I had discussed this before. Her lawyer had added that Diddy SA'd her on the balcony, SA'd, if you didn't catch what I said. And that really was just him, picking her up when he allegedly dangled her from the balcony. And I guess he kind of grazed her chest, but her lawyer said that was an SA. And she said, that wasn't the case. And then in terms of Cassie, there was a couple things that I found interesting. So Byron, thank you so much. That's so nice. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you for supporting unbiased news right here. I really am trying. On my interview with the Punisher, I will totally take accountability that I was slightly biased and I wasn't necessarily, I don't know, I was being biased when it came to Clayton Howard's lawsuit. But let me just finish about the Cassie lawsuit and certain things that I noticed when she was on the stand. And I was all over that lawsuit when it first came out in November of 2023. So there is a time, or not a time, there was a section on the lawsuit where she described when she realized how much power that Diddy had. And this was when she was dating, I think it was Ryan Leslie, or dating somebody, and Diddy wanted her to go to Miami or something with him. And this was the first time they really hooked up. She had said, he made a fake flyer and said that I was going to go do this promotion in Miami, this club promotion, whatever. And that's when I realized how powerful he was. And on the stand, she talked about this Miami thing and that she was okay with it. And she kind of helped facilitate this. And she kind of went along with this fib, this lie, I guess. And so I was like, oh, Okay, because in the lawsuit, it, it did seem like this was all Diddy and she wasn't okay with it. But on the stand, she was like, oh yeah, this happened. It was kind of like a we thing. And you can look at the transcript to see that. This is not any type of dragging of nothing like that. This is, again, just an observation based on what I read and how I interpreted this on her lawsuit and what I heard on the stand. And then yeah, exactly. So exactly, in the lawsuit, it seemed like she was like, oh my gosh. And right, multiple things can be true. She could have realized in that moment just how powerful he was, how everyone kind of does what he says. He gets these flyers printed, but on the stand, it was like, yeah, this is what happened. And then I went to Miami and we hooked up and, whatever. So, and then there was the balcony incident with Brianna Bongelin. And I still, I felt like the defense did not really, they hammered Brianna on this. And Brianna's testimony was well after Cassie. She was like towards the end, I would say, the trial, or the middle, and Cassie was clearly the beginning. But with the balcony incident, Anna Estevao kind of called out some of these text messages that Cassie had sent to Christina Coram. And this was at the end of the week, right? And the balcony incident was supposed to happen on like a Sunday or a Monday, but we know that that date was very, very skewed because Brianna Bongelin did not have the right date on her metadata. So by the end of the week, days later, after the alleged incident supposedly occurred, Cassie texted KK and said, I just heard the craziest thing, right? Brianna and Cassie both testified that Cassie was in her room when this happened and either came out of her room in the middle of it or right after, kind of at the door, and was like, wait, did he just dangle you from the balcony, or what just happened? So they had their stories were different, number one. And then with the KK text, she just heard the craziest thing. That's what Cassie said. And then on the stand, and I went to the transcript. When I went to the transcript, Cassie had said to Anna Estevao, I saw what I saw. And if you do study, I guess, linguistics or statement analysis, I saw what I saw is not really an admission of saying that you saw something, right? That's not saying, yes, I saw him dangle her off of the balcony and it was terrifying. She just said, I saw what I saw. That could be anything. I am not sitting here saying that I don't believe the incident happened. I'm just telling you this was interesting when it came to the civil lawsuits. And then Cassie had even said she got the location wrong of the balcony dangling, because in her lawsuit, it said it was at a hotel. Brianna Bongelin said it was at Cassie's house. So again, just going back to what I said about civil lawsuits and how I just think a little bit differently about them at this stage, this is why. Because I heard firsthand people who filed them saying, well, it was a little bit different. It happened this way. It actually happened that way. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm not like, I'm just saying this is what happened and this is what I heard. So, and someone said, why am I highlighting only certain comments? I don't have a mod, so I just kind of highlight what I see. I try to go back up, but yeah, so I'm sorry. If you say something and I don't see it and it's really important, just say it again and I'll try. And I am not going to the hearing today because I am out of town. I hightailed it out to New Hampshire. And yeah, just needed like a little bit of a break. So let me see. Is there anything else? Yes, get the likes up. Get the likes up. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, I was taking a look at the lawsuit. And by the way, yes, Clayton Howard, so his attorney was or is Tyrone Blackburn, and Tyrone was his lawyer. I saw motions filed during this trial from Tyrone Blackburn because the defense was trying to get information and notes and journal entries from Clayton Howard. And Clayton Howard and his attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, had said, hi, sorry, I was trying to pin this. Yeah. Okay. They had said, this is a client attorney privilege, these notes, you can't have them. And then the defense was like, no, Clayton Howard said he was writing a book and we should have these. So that didn't work. They were required to turn everything over. Anyway, my point was this lawsuit, it's pro se. So Tyrone Blackburn did not help him allegedly or on the record with this lawsuit. Now, Tyrone Blackburn also just got arrested for mowing down a process server when it came to him being served by Joe Tacopina and Fat Joe. Tyrone was getting sued getting served with a defamation lawsuit. So, thank you so much, Tawny. That's so nice. You look like Kate Hudson. I thought that was Kate Hudson in your profile for a second. Yeah, so maybe because Tyrone is in a little bit of hot water right now, maybe he's not using him, but because this lawsuit was filed, I think it was June 30th. Yes, June 30th. Complaint filed by Clayton Howard against defendants Bad Boy Records, Beverly Hills Hotel, Sean Combs, Combs Enterprises, Doe Corporations, Epic Records, and Cassandra Ventura. So yeah. I mean, yeah, he still got served. Yeah, and he was okay. The guy was okay. He was all right. So yeah, let me make sure I want to get to Epstein because I've got some things to say about this, but I want to make sure I covered everything. Does anyone have any other questions about Diddy? I will write an update on everything that happens later in the day on X, and I'll do a post on YouTube. But let me know if you have any questions here or anything else that I might have missed. I think the hearing, by the way, is going to be short today. I don't think it's going to be much of anything, but yeah, let's see. When is he getting sentenced, Diddy? We don't know. Right now, October, but the hearing today is to determine whether they will expedite that or not. So we will find out. Lil Rod said in his interview with AK, the same thing. Bonnet said on the stand how he'd be making stuff up that he was being coached. I mean, look, I don't know. I guess it depends on the lawyer, but I can see that's probably where a lot of these lawyers would get some bad reputations if they're known for telling their client to exaggerate in civil suits, because civil attorneys, that's how they get paid. Doug Wigder made a very pretty penny off of Cassie's lawsuit because that's his job. So yeah. And Angela, I was discussing this. I mean, I don't think he'll get more than 2 years, but some people think he'll get 5 to 10 years. I don't know how. I don't know. I mean, again, it could be just going back to what the defense had said about their own client, that he is violent and he has a propensity for violence. But the other thing is I was thinking about too, and this is random, but Jane, the abuse that took place on June 24th, 2024, I mean, the statute for that, I guess, wasn't up. So if Jane wanted to, I guess she could have filed charges. I mean, if she was talking to HSI and she was talking to the feds, it is interesting. Why wouldn't they push her to file state charges? Go to LAPD and say, hey, he just beat my ass. He just did this to me and then he forced me to do this. You know what I mean? And yes, no, I'm totally aware that she hit him first. I'm just saying, do you guys ever wonder why she wasn't maybe pushed to do that and she was kind of taken in this other direction to say, hey, we need your help to get him on these federal charges. I thought about that the other day. So, yeah, I don't know. I maybe there's no basis behind that, but who knows? Diddy will not get sentenced to more than 33 months. Trust me, I have friends in federal prison, unfortunately, and guidelines are mandatory. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, 5 to 10 years, it is a long time for prostitution charges, right? That's what it is. I think certain people, or not certain people, but the people that say are very angry about the verdict and say, no, he should get way more than that. I think they're talking about just Diddy as a whole, things they know from the past, obviously the video that nobody likes, that Chris Cuomo said. But yeah, 5 to 10 years on prostitution is yeah, that's crazy. That's totally crazy. Hey, Carrie. Okay, so I do want to quickly go to Jeffrey Epstein, because this, I mean, I don't think, yeah. So thank you so much. I actually talked to him about this and Claudia, and I said, I like to say AK and I like to say AC. I say both, and they are totally cool with it. So I'm going to keep doing that. But I do appreciate you looking out for me, because I know that's what you were doing, right? You're looking out for me so I didn't look silly. So thank you. So, okay. So right now, I will never get over what is happening. I will never get over the bold-faced lies that we are being told. And I say that not because I am sitting here saying that I know everything and I was there, because I wasn't there. But going back to February, let's say, and I've got more. I've got more. So, and I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Sorry, I'm going back up in the chat. What about the Abercrombie Oh yeah, sorry. Really quick, somebody asked me about that too. So apparently the Abercrombie CEO has dementia, and I think he's like 80 something. He has dementia. Apparently he's not fit to stand trial. So there's not an actual trial date set for that yet. He's just at home with an ankle monitor, because I don't think he knows where he is personally. So yeah, last I checked, there is not a trial date for that. So, okay. So MJ, the doctored video, you think the video's doctored outside of his cell, right? Yeah. So my whole thing is like, MCC, that was the Metropolitan Correctional Center, not MDC, which is where Diddy is. That's Metropolitan Detention Center. That's in Brooklyn. MCC, where Epstein was, that place closed. That place was worse than MDC, and it closed for a number of reasons. Now, I don't want to ever be a conspiracy theorist, but I found it very convenient that now they have this footage to show us, number one. And number two, there were no checks made on Epstein, right, for 11 and a half hours. And they cannot wait to tell us that. They could not wait to tell us that. Oh, no, nobody went in that cell for 11 and a half hours. Well, isn't that convenient now that you have the charts, right? And I can show you this. I don't know if you guys follow me. Let me find my ex yesterday, but I did a post where I kind of pointed out some of the flaws within, I guess, what happened the day of, or I guess the night before, maybe. Share this tab instead. Look at me. I'm getting so good at this, sharing tabs. So if you see this right here, guys, I mean, he was supposed to have checks, I believe, every 15 minutes. This is the suicide timeline, I guess. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So a couple things that's incorrect here, right? since he was a high profile inmate and he was on suicide watch, he should have had somebody checking on him pretty much every 15 to 20 minutes. That didn't happen. Was that on purpose? You know, we can speculate. And also, I mean, I think that yes, the video could be doctored. I think there could be other angles. I am very big on the other angles here. So I just don't think that's fair to show us a video that the DOJ had first, that they could have done anything they wanted to it. And you know what? I should get a forensic video expert to see exactly. God, I should. Yeah, I feel like I know maybe one or two people that I'm connected with on LinkedIn that should be looking at this to see what has been doctored. Thank you so much, Eileen. I really appreciate you. So yeah, okay, so maybe 30 minutes, whatever. But either way, he should have been checked on and, you know, routinely multiple times within the hour, and he wasn't. And then when it comes to someone who is on, you know, this type of suicide watch or high profile inmate, he should have gotten another cellmate after his cellmate went to court. So you can see there, he did not get another cellmate. He was left by himself. And then let me see where. Okay. And the FBI did not show up to investigate. And this is huge. The FBI did not show up to investigate for 5 hours. 5 hours, guys. I mean, that's crazy. Again, this is pretty much the most high profile client that you will have I mean, right? Like, yeah, 5 hours, bad. And not only that, guess what else? They did not preserve, where is it? They did not preserve the hard drives, and the evidence was not preserved in its original state. They switched out the hard drives, which is really concerning. Really, really concerning. So yeah, right away, right off the bat, you've got protocols that were not followed by the jail, by the FBI. Right. Okay. So I have the video right here. Yes, we were just discussing about the video being doctored. And again, I think it would be helpful if I contacted a forensic video expert and said, you know, point all of this out. It's just frustrating. I don't like it. And so let me go to the video really quick. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but it just makes me really, it makes me really annoyed. I'll make it bigger if I can. I don't know if I, okay, no, I'm capable. I'm capable. Sorry. Okay, what is it? It says, you watched the video this morning and they showed that a minute was edited out and the video doesn't show. Right. Well, this is his cell, apparently, like that door. Let me see. Can I get it bigger? Playback speed. Let's go to 1.5 really quick. Government can't be trusted. Oh, you didn't see this yet? Okay. So yeah, it is weird. The door, it's so confusing. It's like, so they show him, let me get this part, hold on. Because they'll show him going, no, I'm fast forwarding. This is nothing. You can see it's nothing. Okay, wait. Hold on. Yeah, it's like they're just showing us a whole lot of nothing, and I'm trying to show the timestamp. Yeah, they're trying to show the timestamps, and that's where it totally gets skipped around. I mean, the timestamps go all over the place. So I just don't understand why we're supposed to take this video and say, oh, okay, you're right. It was never, I mean, what? This is so chronologically just like out of order. And something else, you know, like when it came to the CNN video, let's say with Diddy and what happened there and why they had to have this forensic video expert testify is because they did make these edits And like the defense wanted to make certain things clear. For example, that, you know, the running that you saw Diddy do, and then, you know, the next cut, you saw him like grab her bag and then it was on the floor. Well, they didn't have every angle because, and this is doing a really bad job of showing us, and the DOJ did a bad job of explaining this to us. But and this is why I guess sitting through some of these trials with these video footage is so helpful, because there are cameras every corner, every hallway, and they're motion detected, most of them. I don't know for a fact if the MCC cameras were motion censored, motion detected, but that's generally what happens. And so that's why you see just so many cuts. But we need to know that, right? The public has a right to know where the cuts were, where certain cameras shut off, which angles, and we don't. And it's just not, it's silly. And I mean, let me see. I'd stay away from this Epstein stuff. It's out of the average person's hands. Real power handling that. Yeah, sure. But I feel like, I mean, at this point, I don't think we're ever really going to get an answer. And the person who is closest to getting an answer will probably be, but that's just my opinion. So, yeah, this video means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. I don't believe it. I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it shows anything. Yeah, I just don't. I really don't. So let me see. Just want to see if I'm missing anything. Hey, T Lounge. Good to see you. Why is the trash can? I didn't see that. The trash can is moving by itself. I didn't see that. I'll go back and I'll look a little bit deeper. But where is it? Okay. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you Pam Bondi's bold face lie. And this is awkward because, guys, if you watched any of my prior videos, I know MJ has, Carrie, you have, with Jack Fox, who is a deception statement analyst, it's very difficult to lie. It's much easier to tell the truth. And something that I noticed about Pam Bondi, something that she did and that she does, is she talks a lot. She talks a lot of like conservative catchphrases, right? Like, let's say, you know, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about, but let's say we're talking about the border. She's got all the stupid buzzwords. She's got all the, Pam Bondi is the Attorney General of the United States, appointed by President Trump. But yeah, she's got it all. Oh, the border wasn't protected. It's just like, it's like things that we all know that any talking head can say. But like when you have the Attorney General at the mic here, we want details. We want never before heard information, things that we can only get from someone like her, who is pulling the strings, who is, you know, in it. And we don't get that from her. She is almost the worst of anybody. I mean, she is so top level. She is so not detailed at all. It's offensive. And you know what she sounds like? Did you guys watch White Lotus this season? She sounds like Parker Posey as Victoria Ratcliffe. She's just like, I don't know. But I pulled up this clip. I have it. Let me see. Let me share this tab. When she was on with Jesse Waters, and I want to remind everyone that she did like a media tour, basically. I mean, it was essentially a Fox News media tour, but still, she was happy to go on multiple shows and talk about how sick the files were. So let me just remind you, this was a few months ago. Let's check out her lies. Let's check out her top level horse crap. Yeah, exactly. Talking in circles, of course, but she should not be. Again, she's the AG. And Lisa, you're saying Epstein reported to Ghislaine and her daddy, Mossad. Okay, I hear you. All right, let me get this.
Because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk. When can we see them, and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims, 200. So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow.
I mean, sorry. And also, like, there's so many victims and like, we need to make sure their names are redacted. Yes, that's not like information. Generally, victims' names are redacted. So we don't really need you to explain that to us. But thank you so much for wanting to sound smart.
Tomorrow is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay, well, we'll
along with
his
co-defendant.
Absolutely, and he had help. That's for
He
sure.
sure did.
Oh,
We're
he
hearing
sure
reports
did.
that there was an investigation opened into James.
He sure did. He sure did have help, but there was no help apparently, guys. Did you catch that? He sure had help, but there is no help, aka there is no list sitting on her desk. And look, Andrea, you are not alone in this. And what bothers me so much about this is that I agree, sure, she should step down, but like the Epstein list, it doesn't necessarily save our lives, right? It doesn't save the lives of the human race. It's not going to stop us from going to war. It's not going to, I mean, it's just like the fact that we do have to focus on this as a country when there's so much other stuff going on. It's kind of sad, but she brought this on herself by either just being an idiotic order taker and not pushing back. And I know it's easier said than done. Like, let's say this came directly from the president. It came directly from the vice, whoever it came from, you should have enough sense to push back as much as you can if you know that certain things that you saw in those files shouldn't be released. I'm sorry. So that just tells me, number one, she never read them. She lied. Fine. Admit to lying. Go in front of the American people and say, I lied. I didn't read them. I'm really busy. I'm the attorney general and I'm really sorry. I mean, do you guys think that, would you be okay with that? I think I would be like, okay, not ideal, but thank you so much for stopping the lies and being forthcoming, because I think that will be the first step. Let's be forthcoming about this. Let's stop right here and let me just admit a bunch of stuff here. I think that is really important to gaining our trust back. So let me make sure there's nothing else I wanted you guys to hear.
James Comey, who may have thrown honeypots at Donald Trump back in the 2015, 2016 years. Is that true?
Jesse, I don't know anything about what you're saying about James Comey right now.
Okay, that was a report.
Don't know anything about that.
That was a report that was cited in the Washington Times. I'll take it at that. We're hearing a lot about Doge.
Okay.
Has Doge?
So yeah. So you heard her say, it's pretty thick. They're pretty thick. And oh yeah, he had help. And she wasn't talking about Ghislaine, right? Because we already pointed out Ghislaine. Yeah, okay. And you saw James Comey. I mean, that obviously Maureen Comey is James Comey's daughter. She prosecuted and got a conviction against Ghislaine, and she also prosecuted Diddy. Let me see. Okay. Now, if you guys saw this, I resurrected this clip. You know what? I'll pull it up on my Twitter because resurrected this clip from February when I interviewed Ghislaine's attorney, Arthur Aidala. Let me get this up. And if you haven't heard our entire interview, you should. I think it's really interesting. And he plays lawyer, right? He plays it pretty cool, pretty coy, but also understand Ghislaine, I mean, she's filed an appeal. So she is trying to get out. And, there are people who think that it's not really fair. She is the only one in prison. And I get it, because again, she is in prison for apparently trafficking women and minors to nobody. Jeffrey Epstein's dead and there's no list. So why is she in prison? I mean, why would Jeffrey Epstein, I saw this like meme. It's like, why would Jeffrey Epstein hang himself when there was no evidence against him? There was no case. That's so crazy. So let me show you here. I'll just play a little clip of this. God, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to make it bigger. Okay. I'm so bad at this sometimes, guys. Okay.
Jeffrey Epstein kill himself, or was he killed?
No, he was killed. He was
Okay.
absolutely killed.
Okay. I mean, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Do you think Ghislaine knows what happened, or does she have an idea of what happened to Jeffrey Epstein?
I think she has an opinion.
Can you share her opinion?
She doesn't think that Jeffrey Epstein had the guts to kill himself.
Okay, time out. Okay. I mean, listen, I will be the first to say suicide, depression, mental health, you think you know someone and then you don't. I understand that. It's very nuanced. It's very complicated. Ghislaine knew him better than anyone did. And sure, I think the other side could be, well, how well do you know anybody? I mean, I don't know, but I appreciated him saying that.
Saw him 2 days before he died, and he actually looked good, and he was in there with a couple of paralegals. But he had just lost either his second or third attempted bail. And I think he was smart enough to know, based on public knowledge and public reports, that he probably was going to die in prison.
But I feel like it's crazy that you have access to the woman that I believe has the power essentially to take down half the world. Can't answer this, I'm sure, but do you feel, or do you get the sense that she was threatened somehow? I mean, how does this woman sit behind bars and not say anything?
She is a very strong woman.
Sorry, and time out. Somebody had commented, I forget where it was. They said, don't you think that Jeffrey Epstein's death was a threat enough? Meaning, she saw what happened to him. What? Okay. Was that a threat enough? Okay, I don't know.
Woman. She's a very tough woman who is facing 20 years in prison, and she's been in for a hunk of it already. I've never spoken to her about any list or about anything like that, but human nature. I'm speaking for myself, not for her. I think if she had the keys to the jail cell, the way you're kind of insinuating that she does, I think she would have at least raised it with us about using the keys to the jail cell.
Bullshit. She was okay. So, yeah, I was not buying what he was selling there, and I don't remember where I went off on that tangent. I actually really don't remember. But go watch the whole interview, and you'll see what where I was calling him out and how we finished. And yes, her trial, that was like 2019 or 2020, Maytal. And you know what, guys? I did do a live stream on Mike Jeffries. I've been asked about that a lot. I did a live stream on that a while ago where I looked up the indictment, and I had updated somebody before at the beginning of the stream where I'm pretty sure he has dementia, and they haven't really set a trial date yet because he doesn't even know where he is. So he is sitting on an ankle monitor, or with an ankle monitor at his house. And again, if he even thinks he's at his house, I don't know. But yes, he is also a very, very sick man. Very, very sick man. So many sick people. So yes, we've seen the lies. Now, the other thing I want to say about this is and thank you so much, Lily. That's so nice. So the Trump and Elon Musk alleged feud, where Elon tweeted that Trump wasn't releasing the Epstein files because he was on them. You know, I personally thought that that was for show. My opinion there was that that was fake, and that Elon and Trump kind of orchestrated that, because Kash Patel, the FBI director, was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was asked about some things when it came to Epstein, and he was not biting at all. And that podcast dropped the same day as the feud. And I feel like it was a bit of deflection. And then something else, this is going to sound like a flex, and I don't want it to sound like a flex. And I haven't even really talked about this or discussed this, because it's nothing and it doesn't necessarily matter. But I was very close to the former NYPD commissioner, Bernard Kerik. And Bernard Kerik, he led New York City, through 9/11. He got us all through it. And he was appointed by Rudy Giuliani. And I had worked with him briefly at a radio station in 2021, I think it was. And we kept in touch. And if you look at some of my podcasts, he appeared on the podcast with me. But anyway, unfortunately, he passed away about a month ago. And I went to his funeral, and I attended it with Giuliani and, some of his crew. And there was a lunch after. And it was a very small lunch. And Kash Patel just happened to be there. And I was sitting directly across from him. And so I did bring up Epstein. I couldn't help myself. And he didn't bite. He didn't want to talk about it. He actually got up from the table. So I can't really blame him. And then someone else at the table kind of said, read the room. Read the room. Like, shut up. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I wanted to try. So my opinion on a lot of this is, and again, it's like I get it. Like this, we were at a funeral basically, or it was after the funeral, but I mean, and you work for the president, and there's stuff going on, and you can't just talk about it, I guess, open-endedly. But my opinion after that, and just after all of this, is that they got to go with this narrative. They were told to go with this narrative, and it's really unfortunate that they didn't get it together, and that now we can't trust what they say. And is this the biggest issue our country is facing? No, of course not. But you, the administration, you have made it a thing. You have all made it a thing. And now we can't get over it, and we won't stop talking about it. So, yeah, it's just like, it's upsetting, because I want to get over it. And I want, I'm concerned about Iran and Israel and the United States. I really am. But I'm also concerned that this administration came right out and bragged, oh, we're so transparent. There is no need for the deep state anymore, because, we're going to tell you everything. Okay, well, you really failed. And now you're just bold-faced lying to all of us. So I think the real question is, we know there's a lot of people on that list. Is Trump one of them? Sure, maybe. But that, he would have already known that. So I feel like that's not the reason that we're being told this narrative. There's got to be something else. And I want to figure it out, and I will continue to look into it, to search. But let me just show you this. Where's the letter? This stupid letter. Or I thought I had it. Maybe I don't have it. Or it's not even, you know what? It's really not even that important. The letter. It's just, my gosh. Okay. I'll put it in the chat if you guys do decide that you want to read it. And it's the DOJ. Do I think Trump will pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? I don't, because I I don't think that he wants anything to do with sex crimes. I think that's a really bad look. It's a bad thing to do if you pardon somebody who is accused of sex crimes, especially involving minors. You can't do that as the president. So no, I think that she's stuck where she is. But no, she let me see. Okay. Yeah, you really like Mike Jeffries, man. I don't want to talk about that guy anymore, especially because there's no trial date set yet. And like, what is going to happen? What is going to happen to him? Lauren, you do recognize that if Trump was on that list, Democrats would have leaked it during the election. Nah, there's lots of Democrats on that list too. So I don't think, like I said, I think there's something more going on. And also, everyone knows if they are on that list, if they were on Epstein's plane, if they hung out with him, they know that there are records of them somewhere. So I don't think that is the issue. Like, oh, Trump's name is on it. I think it's something bigger because I think we know his name is on it, just like lots of Democrat names are on it. So, yeah. Okay. I know Mike Jeffries is on that island. You're funny. He probably was. Okay. And thank you. Hit the like and subscribe. Okay. So let's get to my next case. Okay. The next case, I will be attending a hearing next week for the crypto kidnapping. Now, this is crazy. So some of you have heard me talk about this. And I actually wish I was in Manhattan right now because how do you spell kidnapping? Is this the right way to spell kidnapping? Am I like an idiot? Yeah, 2 P's. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So the crypto king of Kentucky, his name is John Waltz. Now, this guy, he was arrested. I'm going to pull this up actually. So this is funny. I had emailed the NYPD press office to get this arrest affidavit, and NYC is weird. They clearly, like, when I ask for an arrest affidavit, this is what they give to me, which is kind of annoying. But basically, on Friday, May 23rd, 2025, at approximately 9:37 a.m. in the vicinity of Mulberry Street and Prince Street, a 28-year-old male victim approached an on-duty traffic agent and stated that he had been kidnapped and held against his will in a nearby apartment since May 6th. Okay, that is a couple of weeks. You know that. The male further stated that he had been routinely assaulted during his captivity. Police officers from the 5th Precinct responded to 38 Prince Street and took a 37-year-old male into custody. The victim was transported to NYC Health and Hospitals at Bellevue in stable condition. And now the individual was arrested was John Waltz, 37 years old, 38 Prince Street. Charges: second-degree assault, 2 counts of that, kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, 1st degree, and criminal possession of a firearm. So let me show you John Waltz. I know. Now, this is what we later found out was John Waltz and another man named William Duplessis. And a girl. We don't know how this girl is involved, but there was a girl that was also arrested but not charged. And what was her name? I have it. All right. Okay. Beatrice Fulci. She's 24 years old. She was arrested on May 24th, but not charged. And her involvement is unknown. But John Waltz and his buddy, William Duplessis, or his business partner, they tortured this Italian businessman, this unnamed crypto entrepreneur from Italy. They tortured him and threatened him for his Bitcoin password for weeks. And what they did was they peed on him, they cut him with a chainsaw, they hit him, they made him do drugs, they dangled him over a balcony. So yeah, they did a lot. And let me show you, I want to show you 38 Prince Street, by the way, because that's where I kind of was like, oh man, if I was in Manhattan right now, I would go over there. I would go downtown and I would show you this apartment live, because this apartment is $30,000 a month in rent, this apartment. So let's see. Crazy. This is the street view. So it's a townhouse right here. This is the whole townhouse area. The three, like the door, window, that's one townhouse. These are the steps leading up. You can see there's like in a lot of these New York City townhouses, they see the bottom area. That's like a kitchen. They're very cool. Sometimes I like to go into these open houses to check them out. So yes, Derek, $30,000 a month. That's how much it is. I'll just go inside. Let me see if you can go inside. 38 Prince Street. It's 8 bedrooms. Whoa, this is inside this apartment. Let me see. Yeah, it says single family residence. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Like, this is the outdoor area. I would not want to be hung out that window, obviously. So sick. So yeah, so they tortured him for his Bitcoin password, John Wolfe, William Duplessis, and they were both charged. And I think you saw that. It was, what did I just say? Assault, kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, and criminal possession of a firearm. So a lot going on there. And oh, Lisa, thank you so much. That's so nice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Really, thank you. So they have these guys have a hearing next week, next Tuesday, and they are in Rikers. So you guys see this townhouse here? I mean, imagine this is the gym. Oh, imagine going from this place to Rikers Island. Not even cool. Not even cool at all. So yeah. And I found this article about John Wolfe because he is known as the crypto king of Kentucky. And I kind of found that to be interesting. Let me show you. This is him. If you're not aware of what he looks like, this was him in court the other day. Maybe last month. That's when his last hearing was. And oh, you know, it's so crazy. Some of you guys who've been following me for a while, the judge in this case is Judge Greg Caro. So I had Judge Greg Caro for jury duty, which I didn't really make it through. I kind of left I left on the second day and I talked to a bailiff. It was a whole thing. But anyway, and he is also Luigi Mangione's judge in the state case, Greg Caro. So he, I will say, he was very fair to the defendants from what I saw. And he was not super kind to the potential jurors. And he didn't really, I kind of felt like his courtroom, I don't know. He just didn't, we wasted a lot of time. I'll put it that way. We wasted a lot of time, but he was very fair to the defendants because there was one guy who said when he was being questioned during the voir dire, you know, like, can you be fair? He said that him and his mom got beat up or something. It was really scary. And his mom was elderly. And he said, we got beat up, you know, by a bunch of guys and they took all of our money and we were like left for dead, whatever. He said, so I can't be fair. And I look at those two guys and I think they're guilty. And the judge like freaked out. Caro freaked out on him and kicked him out. And I was like, wow, he really is very, sorry. He's very, very, very fair to the defendants. Like not only kicked this guy out, but like yelled at him on his way out, kind of asking why he was taking part in criminal jury duty. He's like, you should have done civil. And I was like, oh, we have a choice. I didn't know we had a choice. Because I was sitting there too. And I was like, really? Okay. So yes, Greg Caro is the judge for these guys and for Mangione. And he was who I had for jury duty. So interesting. But just going through this article really quick. He said this is from the Times. The crypto king of Kentucky had it all: a luxurious rental townhouse in Lower Manhattan, a life of fine dining and expensive nightclubs, his own private jet. I did not know that. And $100 million fortune supposedly amassed through his years in Silicon Valley. Now he is behind bars in Rikers Island, the notorious New York prison, after he was arrested last week on Prince Street wearing nothing but a bathrobe. Yeah, there were pictures of him coming out of the townhouse in a bathrobe. And there's a beautiful picture of Rikers Island. Very beautiful. Not. By the way, this is also really random, but one of my very close friends is a CO at Rikers. And he actually told me, and I didn't believe him, but he said that the food at Rikers is not awful. And he said that even the COs, they love the baked chicken, I guess. And like inmates and COs fight over the baked chicken. I guess the meals come from this like service off of this truck. And he basically, I said, I don't believe you. What do you mean they fight over the baked chicken? Like he just said, like, you know, COs, we get our own food, but on baked chicken day, he said that baked chicken slaps and we all want it. So we all get in line for it. I was like, okay. So hopefully the crypto guys are enjoying the baked chicken that slaps at Rikers. Listen, I'm just telling you what my friend said. I don't know. I can't imagine, but I have seen some of these menus where it says like fresh seasonal fruit for breakfast. And I'm like, what? I mean, fresh seasonal fruit? That doesn't sound horrible, but like it probably is. I mean, who knows? Whatever. Okay, so Rikers. He's accused of kidnapping an Italian man worth $30 million and torturing him at his mansion for nearly 3 weeks, all for his Bitcoin password. Okay, here is what it says. He was drugged, given electric shocks, severely beaten, and at one point hung upside down from the top of the property's staircase before escaping. And then later, William Duplessis, a 33-year-old crypto businessman, was also arrested for his alleged involvement. Both suspects deny all charges. Okay, so how do you do that? How do you deny all those charges? Sorry, Jack, I'm dying. You turned on the baked chicken that slaps. Yeah, you've missed. We're talking about prison food right now. Yeah, so this is interesting. I get it. You have a defense and you are denying all charges, but I'm assuming that evidence has been found, although I don't know because NYPD is playing very coy with me in these emails, of course. So hopefully I will get more information when I attend this hearing next Tuesday. But it's funny, or I guess it's not funny, but it's like they deny all charges. I mean, the guy walked out in distress with injuries. And again, police went into this mansion, and I'm assuming found evidence, found the chainsaw, I know they found the drugs. I mean, they clearly found the weapon because he's charged with unlawful possession of a weapon. So, okay. He was able to afford $30K a month in rent because he's the crypto king of Kentucky, apparently, and worth like $100 million. He had a private jet and everything. And yes, I live in New York City. I'm not in New York City now, but I generally do live there. So let me just go. All right. Let's see. Hi. The man. Okay. He told on Thursday, Woltz's lawyer told the Manhattan judge that his client had earned a degree in philosophy and noted his professional achievements and lack of criminal record as he declared his intention to, quote, fight this case. Former classmates and colleagues of Woltz. He was raised in Kentucky. This is a complete shock. It's heartbreaking. He was totally normal. We grew up in a small town. Okay, that's fine. Well, money can change people, right? I think that's a fair statement. So I feel like it was very big in New York, this case, and then it kind of dropped off. But I think after the hearing next Tuesday, maybe it'll come back into the news cycle because it is so wild. And I really want to know how this woman, Beatrice Fulci, this 24-year-old model, I want to know what her involvement was. She was arrested, but not charged. So totally, totally weird. Yeah, he tortured somebody to share the Bitcoin password because apparently this Italian guy was worth a lot of money as well. So, oh yeah, and there's the picture of him being arrested in his bathrobe. Wild scene right there. like I said, I want to go down there. Maybe after I go to the hearing, I'll head down there. Okay. He was raised in a Catholic family. I mean, shocked and saddened. Okay, we get it. He excelled in middle school. Okay. Went to St. Mary's, a Catholic school. Cool. Don't care. Okay, this is what I want to know. Okay, how and when Waltz crossed paths with Duplessis is not known. Those are the two men that have been arrested. William Duplessis is John Waltz, though it's believed the pair both had ties to a crypto hedge fund in New York. Duplessis was born in New York and has a tattoo of the seal of Kentucky on his chest. Dancing topless. Oh, photos from social media show that Duplessis, who was born in New York, has a tattoo of the seal of Kentucky on his chest, dancing topless in high-end clubs and carrying women on his shoulders. Waltz does not appear to embrace Duplessis' brand of hedonism. The New York Post quoted a source who said that on his nights out with Duplessis, he didn't seem happy to be there. Okay, interesting. The pair were reported to throw frequent late-night bashes, lavishing their guests with thousands of dollars worth of booze, including Pappy Van Winkle, a whiskey that cost $900 a bottle. Okay. All right. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess in every pair, pair of partners, there is somebody who likes to party and a person that maybe doesn't like to party and wants to kind of keep things contained. However, everything I've read shows that John Waltz was the aggressor in this situation, the kidnap situation. But I don't know. I gotta wait and see. And I don't know. I think we'll do that soon. AK, Sean G, and myself. Hopefully, AK is going on vacation next week, but maybe we'll do it after. So, and yes, I will be covering the Mangione case in court, so you guys can look forward to that. His next hearing, Mangione's next hearing, is in September. So that's a while away, but I will be definitely covering that and going to that. Let me just make sure there's nothing else I missed. Okay. So this is, let me just make sure. I want to go to their court information. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I know their court information. I'm just making sure that they didn't email me from whatchamacallit, from DCPI. Okay, they didn't. I wanted more information than that, but they didn't give it to me. So, okay, that is too bad. So, anyway, I will be in court next week covering John Waltz and William Duplessis when it comes to this case. Oh, sorry. Investigators, just really quick, later recovered crack cocaine, chicken wire, body armor, night vision goggles, firearm ammunition, and pictures of the alleged victim with a gun pointed to his head from the home. Pools of blood and t-shirts bearing an image. Okay. So yes, I totally forgot. They had Polaroids of the torture. That is wild. That is totally wild. Polaroid. So they had everything. I'll get all the details and yeah, we'll see. But hopefully you guys are interested in hearing about that case because I'm very interested. I'm going to cover it. If you hear of anything else in Manhattan that is of interest to you, let me know. There's something else that I'm working on behind the scenes as well. And I did a podcast about this last summer. But if you are from the New York area, you may have heard of this. But if you're not, you probably didn't. But there's a club. It's in Brooklyn. And hold on. Let me make sure I have the right info. Okay. So, no, that's not it. That's not it. It started in 2023, but there were a string of deaths. Now, one summer it was 2 deaths, one in June in 2023 and then one in July. And they were in Brooklyn, and they were 2, I guess you could call them drownings in the Gowanus River in Brooklyn. And these 2 men, they had just left the it was the Brooklyn Mirage nightclub. So one man, he was like 28 years old, or both of them were, I think, 28 or 29 years old. One was an investment banker, and the other one was like a psychologist or something. So these 2 men, again, John, I forget, one of the guys' names was John, let me see. Carl Clemente and John Castick. Those were their names. Now, they had left the club. Now, John Castick was actually seen walking by a pizza stand, seeming totally sober, totally fine. Next thing you know, he's reported missing, and he turns up in this river. And his father actually thought, well, you know, he's allergic to peanuts, so maybe he had some kind of allergic reaction and he died, but that wasn't it. So then Carl Clemente, he was actually turned away from the Brooklyn Mirage for being too drunk. So there was camera footage that showed Carl Clemente actually running through a lumber yard, like running through the lumber yard that was kind of right by the Gowanus River, and his wallet was later found there. But then he wound up in the river and he drowned. However, the manner of death is undetermined for these men. And then a year later, there was another young man that was leaving a different nightclub, but sort of nearby the Brooklyn Mirage, and he also drowned. And his mother wanted answers. She was very vocal about wanting answers. And this area of Brooklyn, I mean, it's strange because there's not a lot of Ubers there, and there's not a lot of street lamps. I know that the city council woman, she was adding more street lamps, and they were trying to actually get better service there. They're like, because when you go there, you have one bar, and that's the other thing. You have to walk kind of far to actually be able to call an Uber, even if you want to get one. So yeah, I am working on something with those cases. That's kind of a long-term project, but check that out because it's crazy. And I also feel like it was strange that they would even be nearby that creek, the Newtown Creek, the Gowanus River, because it's disgusting. I mean, especially in the summer, it smells. I mean, it's just not a place that you want to hang out. It's just not. So anyway, oh my gosh. Okay. So really quick, if anyone has any ideas, I would love to hear them about juror interviews. What I've been doing and trying to find these jurors is I've been taking descriptions that I gathered during jury selection or whatever's on the internet and putting them in Facebook, like male, 31, investment analyst, church, or one girl was like a site operator for a coffee company. So I'm looking up all the coffee companies in New York, I'm throwing it into Facebook, throwing it into LinkedIn. I'm looking through the pictures and I'm trying so hard to find a face that I recognize. No luck. So I don't know how people go about this. I mean, it's so annoying because I would see jurors come in to the courthouse with me. I would see them coming in like next to me and I'd be like, what are you supposed to do? I mean, you can't just slip them a card on the spot, right? You'd get in huge trouble. So I feel like I kind of blew it. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. We'll see. But yeah, I'm trying and I'm doing my best. But all right. Did I miss anything in the chat? Oh, thank you so much. I'll take that, Courtney K. I appreciate that. Yay. Cover Los Angeles cases, fly out there. I mean, I like the Menendez brothers case. I was covering that for a while. Hey, Dizzy. Oh my gosh, I love you too. I'm so happy you're here. Hey, Hawkeyes. Good to see you. Yeah, Daybell, that's a sick case. Ugh. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on. Someone just said, so they're not allowed to share each other's names. There's a guy at the federal courthouse who is in charge of the jurors. I just forget his name. So I emailed the media office, and they're like, sorry, we can't give up jurors' names. I'm like, no, I know that. I want the guy that was in charge of them. And then they never wrote back. So we'll see. Just ask on a live if anyone knows a juror and if they want to speak. Well, yes, please. if you are a juror in the Diddy trial, please, I would love to speak with you. I would love to talk to you. You can even be anonymous. You can not be on camera. You can give me written answers. I don't care. I am just so curious. I am so curious. Do I think the judge was fair in the case? Yeah, I think he was really fair. I do. I think I've said that throughout. I don't think he liked denying things or denying evidence point blank to either side. So he would really be accommodating, like, well, you can't bring this in as is, but you can redact certain parts and then bring it in. So I again, that's just one example, but I did think he was fair. And yes, Derek, you have told me, Lil Durk, I will not forget to look into this. That is LA. Throw my links in the chat, Dizzy. I should. Yeah. For everyone just new to this channel, please like, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Come back. I'll be doing some interviews later this week for my podcast, The Outlier, that I also put up on here. Who am I interviewing exactly? I'm interviewing this guy, John Edward. He's a psychic, but he has this new book called Chasing Evil. And he worked with this FBI agent, Bob Hilland, in 1998 on like a cold case. And he seems really interesting. So I'm really excited to interview him. And then hopefully I'm trying to book this interview with Christopher Imperioli, who was on Sopranos. I haven't heard back yet, but he's promoting like a new show or a new movie. So I like to include that. Wait, hold on. Wait, how did I not laugh? Wait, how did I not laugh at what? No, I haven't interviewed him yet. Hold on, let me find my link tree and I'll put it in here. Okay, here we go. Thanks, Dizzy. That was a really good idea. I'm really bad at self-promotion. Yeah, Mindhunter in real life, MJ, exactly. And how did I start following these cases and going to court? Well, I actually used to be an entertainment reporter, believe it or not. So I was doing red carpets, and then the pandemic hit. And I had a podcast as well where I was just doing strictly entertainment, red carpets. I thought it would be really fun to bring live red carpets to a podcast. And then, COVID hit. So I kind of there was like virtual, and that's when the virtual interviews started and like these virtual junkets. So I was doing a lot of those. And then when COVID kind of, things opened back up again, I ended up getting a job at WABC Radio and doing news there as well. I did the morning show and I did entertainment for them, but then I wrote and did all the news headlines on the hour. And that kind of got me also out into the fields, into New York. And I realized I'm in this city and there's so much going on. There's happy events going on and there's criminal events going on. And so after I worked there, I kind of decided that I want to take the turn in going into criminal stuff as well, because I kind of felt like nobody cares about a celebrity unless they're arrested. I mean, there's only so much you can talk about when it comes to celebrities and their new movies and whatever. And it just was getting kind of boring for me being on these carpets, being like, oh, the movie is so good. Was it so fun to make? You guys look like you had so much fun making this movie. So yeah, it got kind of boring, and I like putting puzzle pieces together when it comes to a lot of investigations. And of course, I think that trials are so fascinating. So yeah, I kind of wound up here doing investigative, independent reporting and podcasting. So yeah, here we are. But let me see. Okay, so yes, you guys all have, let me put this up. I think there's my link tree. If you guys want to follow anything else I do, I would love that. Yeah, I think that's it for now. I'm gonna do some suburban things here while my kids are at camp. I'm gonna like go to the grocery store and like push a cart around because I don't get to do that too much in New York City because you can't really carry all your groceries. So I end up making tiny store runs for a lot of stuff in Manhattan, and then I order a lot of my stuff to get delivered to my house. So I think it'd be fun to go to the grocery store. Anyway, okay, well, thank you so much. I will definitely do another live later on this week, and I will have another podcast interview coming out. But thank you so much for watching and for listening and for hanging with me this morning. All right, bye guys. See you later.